Okay, for today's video, we have a lot of dinosaur figures that are from like a brand or company that I have not purchased from before. So this is going to be a little different, but it is going to still be my style of videos of reviewing lots that I order on eBay. But like I said, this is going to have a twist. And as you can tell by the title of the video, that's going to be that this is an Xtractaurs lot. Xtractaurs are a type of dinosaur figure that are not like the normal figures I collect, and you'll see why in a second. But I definitely do see like the charm in them, and I definitely see why some people do like them. But they are not a super popular brand, and that's why they're not in production right now. So, and we'll just kind of get into how I ended up getting a hold of these figures. I actually got really lucky with this lot. I literally just randomly remembered these things, then checked eBay, and there was a lot of a few of the figures that was ending in a few days. And there weren't many sold listings. Like most of the listings were like the individual figures, or like listings that had sold were individual figures. And I ended up winning the auction for like under $15. So for the price, I was really happy with the Xtractaurs I got. So it really wasn't that expensive. So I figured with the lot it was, I thought this was going to be the perfect chance to buy a lot, see how it went on the channel, and if you all enjoy, we'll go from there with Xtractaurs. Obviously, it's not going to be a big main thing on the channel because there's not a ton of figures anyways, and there's just not a ton of content to make on them, but I definitely wouldn't care to make a few more videos of them depending on how you all like it. But I did order this lot a little before the last two lots that appeared on the channel, both being like primarily Safari lots with a lot of Carnegie figures. One was exclusively Carnegie figures, but this came a little after both of those lots as well. So even though I did order this one a little before those two lots, it actually came a little after. So that's the only reason why this video is coming out after those two videos. But yeah, we'll just get into the 5 figures that I got. So yeah, I got 5 different figures, and I'm really excited for the 5 different ones I got. So we'll start with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The T-Rexes, so they each have names, so I'll say they're like which dinosaur they are and their name. The T-Rex's name is Ultrabite. Ultrabite, or the Tyrannosaurus Rex, was the starter figure. So the starter figure, in this case being the T-Rex, came with a disc to download the game on a computer, and the DNA extractor, which was like a thing that looks like almost like a gun that you would like just poke into this little hole, and it would take out like not really DNA, but you know, like that's what it would act like it was doing, and that would allow you to use that in the game, which I'll talk more about the game at the end of the video, but that's how that would work. And the T-Rex came with that. Unfortunately, in this lot, they didn't have the disc or the DNA extractor, but they did have the Rex, which honestly, I mean, that's what I would have wanted out of 3. I would like to get the DNA extractor and the disc at some point, but I'm perfectly fine with just having the Rex right now. Now we'll get on to the next figure, which is the Styracosaurus, named Battle Spike. Definitely glad with this figure. I know most people probably would have wanted like the main Ceratopsian being Triceratops, but the Triceratops in this set kind of looks boring. Like the colors just don't look super appealing to me. And I personally really like Styracosaurus. Styracosaurus is easily like a top 3 Ceratopsian for me, so I'm definitely glad to get a Styracosaurus, especially in this line. Next up, we have the Stegosaurus, named Whipslash, I believe. This is a really nice figure. I like the orange. It looks really good. But this, I definitely like this figure. I don't remember exactly which other Ceratopsians there were, so I'll talk more about that once I show off all the figures, but I definitely like the Stegosaurus figure. And then next we have a really cool one, the Cryorhynchus, named Twin Strike, which now would actually be considered an Ornithochirus. At one point, I don't know what exactly happened with Cryorhynchus, but it used to be its own separate genus, but now it's been lumped into Ornithochirus throughout the years, so I don't know exactly how that went down, but that's the case right now. So this is actually an Ornithochirus figure. But I definitely really like this figure. One thing I will say specifically about this figure, I absolutely love the Pterosaur base. I think the Pterosaur having a base like this just looks great. Having this base where it can like fly in the air, like I think some companies like Safari or something should like consider doing stuff like this for some of their Pterosaur figures. And then I did want to mention one thing with the Rex. The Rex, unfortunately, does not stand very well. It's got these really big feet, but its tail's just not big enough to really keep it balanced. It can sort of stand if you put it like looking really up. I've got it to stand like that, but for the most part, yeah, like that. But for the most part, I would rather just it be like a tripod if it's going to be like that, and just have it standing with its mouth down, almost like that Pterosaur Acrocanthosaurus. We'll put him here just for the colors. And then we have the last figure in the lot, which is the Deinonychus named Stricum, or I think it's Stricum, yeah. Definitely like that figure. There was a few raptors I think had slightly better colors, but I definitely like that one. I think that's honestly probably the hardest to get figure. That or the Pterosaur. Those are the two hard. The Styracosaurus and the Rex are two of the easier ones, and the Stegosaurus is one of the easier ones to get. But these two are probably the two hardest to get in the lot. Out of the set, though, my favorite's definitely the Pterosaur. Just it's so awesome looking having those big wings. Even though the wings, one is kind of warped down. There's probably a way I could fix that, but I haven't figured out how to do it yet. And I love that base on it. The Tyrannosaur's probably my least favorite, just because if the tail was a little longer, I'd like it a lot more. But still, it's just my least favorite. But I really like that Styracosaurus as well. Probably honestly, the Pterosaur, the Styracosaur, the Stegosaur, Deinonychus, Rex. That's probably the order of my favorite to least favorite. And this lot was actually really good because it was one of each of the different types of figures. So they made some Tyrannosaurs. I'm not going to be able to remember all of them, but some that I specifically remember. There was a T-Rex, there was a Nano, I believe there was a Daspletosaurus, and I believe there was a Gorgosaurus. I believe that was the Tyrannosaurus. Maybe it was one of those changed out, but I'm almost positive Nano was one. And then for the raptors, I remember there being Deinonychus, Velociraptor, Utahraptor, and possibly Dromaeosaurus. The Ceratopsians, I remember there being Pentaceratops, Triceratops, Styracosaurus, and maybe one other one that I can't think of. Maybe it was Centrosaurus or Pachyrhinosaurus. I don't think it was Pachyrhinosaurus. I can't remember what the other Ceratopsian was for sure, but I know for a fact that there was a Triceratops, Pentaceratops, and obviously Styracosaurus. And then for the Stegosaurs, honestly, the only one I for sure remember in the line was Stegosaurus. Because I know in the Stegosaurs there was one that was supposed to come out that just never ended up coming out, and two that I remember seeing a Dawson-Turris and a two Ankylosaurus, but one of those two I believe was one of the two that ended up not getting made. So, and then the Pterosaurs, there was this that's actually Ornithochirus, but it's considered Cryorhynchus. And there was that, and for sure Pteranodon, and I believe a few other pterosaurs. I'll put a link to the Wikipedia article about Xtractaurs, which is where I found a lot of the information, and then I found some few other things about some of the information, but that's where I saw some of the information, a lot of the information I got for this video, but yeah, that's pretty much the set. So it was really awesome to get one of each of the five, and I don't know if these would have necessarily been the five I would have hand-picked out, but it's definitely a good group of five. This probably would have been the Pterosaur I picked out, probably would have been the Ceratopsian I picked out, and then the other three, I'm not for sure. I probably would have taken Gorgosaurus over T-Rex, but you know, T-Rex is kind of the main dinosaur, so I'm not going to complain about having a T-Rex, obviously. And the Deinonychus being one of the harder ones to get, I believe, I'm definitely fine with it. And yeah, like I said, this lot was really good to get with all five different ones. And I actually bought this lot to do a slightly different kind of video. I was going to do a video titled something like, does anyone remember Xtractaurs, where I was going to do like a lot of research about them and then make a different style video where I maybe even could have inserted some gameplay. I don't have any gameplay just for me, but just some of the online footage or whatever. But I decided I was going to do this video just showing off the lot, and depending on how you all liked it, then we'll proceed from there if we're going to make any more Xtractaurs content. But I did want to mention a little bit more information about these figures. These figures did come out in 2009. And these actually, like I said, went to a video game on the computer that I believe you would fight other dinosaurs or something using different parts of the dinosaur figures you had. Like, where you could extract the DNA, you could, like, have a Deinonychus's, like, legs with a Styracosaurus head with Ornithochirus wings with a Stegosaurus tail spike. That's pretty much how it would work. So it's just pretty much making hybrid dinosaurs, which is a pretty cool concept, kind of similar to like Jurassic World's hybrids, but, you know, a little bit more of just take out this piece and insert this piece instead of, you know, just a jumble of all the DNA. And I have actually, prior to getting these figures, never owned a single Xtractor. which is actually kind of surprising because these figures came out right around the time when I was getting stuff like this. Like I said, it was 2009, and I would have been like, well, I guess I would have been like 7. Maybe it was a little early, but I think they completely ended the line in 2012. So I definitely could have gotten some of these figures because that is right around the time when I was collecting stuff like just dinosaur figures in general, and then like Skylanders and stuff. So that was right in that time. So I definitely could have seen myself getting something like this, but I just guess I never ended up getting them. Actually, I do remember having one figure sort of like these. There was like a McDonald's figure that was like, I think it was the T-Rex body with the Triceratops head, a Stegosaur tail, and some pterosaur wings on the back. I think I remember owning or playing, maybe somebody I was friends with had a figure of it, but I remember specifically playing with that figure. So maybe I have, I mean, it wasn't a legit Xtractor, but a McDonald's Xtractor. But I do remember that figure. But like I said, prior to getting these, I've actually never owned one of these versions of the figures. So obviously these figures aren't trying to be super accurate. I mean, they're just not trying to be, which I understand. With the style of game it makes sense to not be super accurate. And honestly, I really like the concept and kind of wish that it would have worked. Well, I actually do wish that this would have worked out better and the company would have done better. I think it was either made by Mattel or Hasbro. But I do wish that these worked out better and were still, maybe not still in production today, but lasted a little bit longer and we got a few more figures because, they could have done sauropods and Ankylosaurs, Hadrosaurs, some other different groups of theropods. It could have been cool to see where they ended up taking this game, but obviously it didn't do too well. So that's why they only ended up doing the few sets that they ended up making. But I do really like the overall set, and I could definitely see myself getting some more of the figures in the future. But it's not a top priority for me right now. With me still trying to complete like the Carnegie collection and stuff, this is just more of a if something comes up, I'll get some. But I'm not going out of my way to hunt down the set as of right now. But I did really enjoy making this video, so if you all like it, I could definitely try and get some more stuff like this, or just get more Xtractors in general, or do that Does Anyone Remember Xtractors video. Pretty much explain where I'll pretty much, like I said, just explain everything there is about Xtractors, all the different figures, why the line ended, pretty much everything like that. But it'll only depend on how well this video does, pretty much, because I don't care to do that video, but I'm not like dying to do that video. So, we'll just see how this video goes, and depending on how it does, we'll do more Xtractors content. But I definitely really like these figures, and like I said, even though they're not super accurate, they definitely have some charm to them that I really like, and could definitely see myself getting some more in the future. So, yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I am out.